I'm Tommy, and you are on the boat. And with me, it's the better looking half of this duo. What's happening?
You did this to me again tonight.
What did I do?
You tell me before we start the show, you're like, give me a few minutes, like you're going to start first. So then I just sit here thinking you're going to pull me on when it's time. And then I look up and I'm on.
Yeah, well, no, I like to keep you on your feet. All right, so here's the deal, people. I'm going to read you a quick statement that was put out by the sheriff, and then we're going to get into the conversation. But before any of you get rolling, you can slow your roll with the with Ashley Banfield needs to apologize. All of the people that said this. We're going to go into why on this one, but I wouldn't start screaming about that just yet. All right? Hold on one second, and I'll be right back. Let's get this puppy here. Where are we? There we go. There we go. There we go. Slow your roll on that one. To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative. And gracious, and are victims in this case, to be sure. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. So, number one, I'm not reporting anything, right? This is a channel where people weigh in and give opinions, number one. Number two, Ashley Banfield said that her source that in law enforcement said that was the number one suspect. She doesn't owe anybody any apologies for that. She didn't come out and say, in my humble opinion, this guy is a dirtbag and he's guilty. She said, my source says this. If you knew how many cases have done exactly this, where they come out and say, this individual is not a suspect, and they say it in hopes of getting these people to relax and start making mistakes, calling people. I'm not saying that that what they're telling you isn't the truth, right? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if you play the numbers on this, 80%, and I do mean 80% of these crimes are committed by family or very close associates and friends. Well, Cynthia, you can have your opinion. That's the beautiful thing about this. But so what you should do is, if you have a source that tells you something, don't ever report it. Got it. We'll write that down. APS card at Nancy's door. She was obviously in the process of filing a complaint of some kind. I bet there may even be a case number. And Deborah M. was sent out to interview her. Well, allegedly, they're not even reporting that the police or the FBI are looking into this. And we have that. You know how this came to light, people? Do you know how we got that information? Because we got it from a YouTuber. I'm not saying that it's not true, but, it does make one wonder. Neckbeard is not a suspect anymore. They're still asking people about him. They're still walking through neighborhoods. They're still gathering info, but they are saying that he is not. Do me a favor. If you just got here, smack that like button, hit the bell for notifications so that when we go live, you'll know about it. And do me a favor and hit the like, right? If you hit that thumbs up button, it absolutely does something. It really does. Look, for the time being, there's no getting around the fact that statistically speaking, it's probably going to come back to be a family member. Doesn't have to be, right? Hey, run the world. I got nothing to apologize about. Nothing. And this has not been proven at all. Are you going to apologize if they end up charging one of these people? And who am I apologizing to? Neckbeard? Not a chance on God's green earth. He's done everything within his power, right, to look guilty. I'm sorry, he has. This has not been normal behavior. To purge your YouTube, your social media footprint as much as possible the day after, to run to the car with a sweatshirt pulled over the top of your head and sunglasses on. What do you think, babe?
So just catch me up. I've been saying hi to everyone in the chat. Guys, by the way, just real quick. Hello. Hi, honey. Thank you, everyone, to just real quick who came over to my channel tonight and supported me and subscribed. I'm almost back to 19,000. Please help me get there and subscribe. But I also, it's actually quality, not quantity. I've always said that. I love meeting you guys. I just have to say that before we get into this, I love getting to know you guys. It's all about connection over on my channel here too, but I really chit chat with you guys. And I have really enjoyed getting to know all the new people. So I really mean that. Just thank you. That's why you see me spamming this chat going, come subscribe, because I love meeting you guys. And I'm trying to grow my channel back. So thank you. It means the world to me, to those who do it. And you don't have to, you have a choice. So thank you. Why do I sound like a Southwest flight attendant? You have a choice with who you're flying with.
You did actually sound a little like a Southwest flight attendant.
Babe, hold on. So what are they saying? Basically, that is this statement correct? Is it true? Did he put that out? Is that a real statement?
That is a statement by the Pima County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Now, we do have two organizations, right? We have two organizations that are reporting on this, right? Or that are working on this. You have the FBI and you have the Pima County Sheriff's Office. The Pima County Sheriff's Office is the one that put out that statement. If you knew how many times, though, this happens, right? If you look at case after case after case, they do this. They lie to us, right? We talk about the Koberger case because that was a really great example of it. But they held press conference day after day saying, we got no idea what's going on. None, right? No idea what's going on. And that's simply not the case. And if a reporter reports on somebody, right? If a reporter says, my sources tell me this, maybe take it up with the sources. That's what a reporter's job is to do, right? Now, if it turns out that this is not the guy, that's okay. But it's like I say, if David and Goliath fought tomorrow, the safe money would still be on the giant. And as of right now, I haven't seen anything that ruled these people out. I think it's funny that not all of the DNA has come back and been tested. There's a lot of things that we don't know. They could be saying this too. We ruled out that he's not that guy at the front door. We ruled out that his DNA, we don't know what they mean. We really don't. It is a very, it's an over-the-top kind of statement that's a dangerous thing to make inside of this. Aren't people innocent until proven guilty? Well, no one has thrown him in jail, right? No one has thrown him in jail. People are getting upset because somebody said that he's being investigated. How many days did they spend at his house looking for DNA, right? Sorry. Run the world. So, you know something? Honestly, I appreciate your opinion, right? I appreciate your opinion. I don't, but I'm going to say that. And I'm not a journalist. You can go hang out with journalists. Here we talk about different theories. I'm not sitting at CNN and telling people what the news is. This is a place where I give people a platform to talk, and I sure as shit am not apologizing for that. And if that offends anybody, you can go just past the water cooler on the left. There's a big sign that says exit. Why isn't Savannah defending her sister and brother-in-law from the accusations from the public? It's a really interesting question, right? Guess what? I helped ruin his reputation, did I? Tell you what. See ya. I think you made your point. And I'm telling you, when this is proven out, yeah, I'll come on and apologize. I'm sure you thought I was all about kindness. Run the world. Anyone else want a shot while we're doing this? We come here and we talk about theories. There are a lot of theories that get put out, right? I do what I can to not put out misinformation. Like I'm not going to put up a thumbnail that says Carlos is guilty. If I do, or if I say that Carlos is a suspect and find out he's not, I come on, I apologize for it. But if we can't do theories, then I need to shut this show down and go back to doing something else.
Babe, you just banned me, just so you know. By
really?
Accident. Yep.
Well, I should do that more often.
It says it on StreamYard. It says Relatable Reese was just banned. And then I just typed in and I said, can anyone see me? And it says you've been banned.
Well, I'm going to have to fix that later then.
Okay, sorry guys, I can't talk in the chat now.
Well, I don't know how the hell to fix that, babe. I mean, honestly, let me see. Go ahead and talk, and I'll see if I can get this thing fixed. It was somebody else I was trying to time out. I wasn't even trying to ban somebody, but go ahead and speak, kid, and I'll see whether or not I can get this on the fly.
Yeah, Roulette Master, I'm in trouble. That's okay. I have a mouth and I can use my voice here and talk to you guys. But yeah, he accidentally banned me. I don't know.
Yeah, you're just timed out apparently.
Oh, really?
No, it says banned.
And I don't know how you unban someone on StreamYard.
You don't unban them on StreamYard? But listen, if what I do here offends you, you're absolutely entitled to leave. I don't have any problem with that. But we're going to do this on case after case. I always have, right? I always have. I give people a platform to work through their theories on things. Theories, all of them except one, are going to be thinking that someone else did something. You understand? Every other theory that happens is going to be a theory that does not check out. Makes it very difficult. Go ahead.
Thank you, Cynthia. I was just going to respond to somebody and it scrolled. Hold on. Hey, Julie.
What's odd is it doesn't say that you're hidden. All right, let's get to work here. So there have been numerous cases, and I mean unbelievable numbers of cases where they talked about things and ruled people out only to arrest those people. It happens all of the time. And right now, it's still the only theory that makes sense. I'm sorry it is. If not, you're going with all of these absolutely ridiculous, theories of stuff that TMZ right now is basically responsible for pushing, right? That, we've got guys in Mexico that let a dude walk in, see her in there, and they said, you better get out of here and keep your mouth shut. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of these theories that are going around. But if you think I should be ashamed for myself, it's not going to happen, and I think you're on the wrong channel. Family involvement is the only theory that truly makes sense to me. Take Nancy out, get the money. If the ransom note is fake, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. And I don't think that Neckbeard was at that house doing the dirt, but there was somebody that gave people a lot of information about this house. They knew there wasn't somebody on the other side of that door with a gun. They knew where the cameras were. They knew everything that you needed to pull this thing off, and that usually has something to do with inside involvement. I don't think that the Menendez brothers were mentioned at first, but they were robbing neighbors. Don't quote me on that, just saying. Really? I did not know that. They're up for, I believe they're up for parole. Chef Nanos came out after that official statement. Nobody in the family is a suspect anymore. And then he backtracked on what he said. He did this on a TV interview. I wouldn't be surprised by that, just not because of what the statement was, but because he seems to do that a lot, right? He says things and then seems to double back on them very quickly. Go ahead. Yes, babe?
Nothing, honey. It's just, it's so odd. I can't chat with anybody. I can't say anything.
Well, how about that?
To sit on my hands.
You could come back tomorrow. You wouldn't have to sit on your hands.
Well, no, because then I really can't talk to anybody. I can at least say hi to people in the chat here. I just can't say hi to them in the chat.
Hold on 1 second.
Julie, thank you for subscribing to my channel. Maybe Brock can post my link. I think Tommy.
They put down the $300,000 on that house. They had purchased a house prior to that for about $150,000, and then they were able to flip that house for $300,000. They put $300,000 down. Where they came up with the $150,000 for the first house, I don't know. It's difficult to chase that all the way down.
Thanks, dog lover. Thanks, Eddie.
All right. In theory, it just said that but I don't think I can do it when it's live because I just unblocked you and it said it did.
Well, let me check.
Neckbeard, regardless, is going to be a male skincare and facial hair for men product moneymaker. That's funny as hell.
Okay, do me a favor, babe. You unblocked me, but I'm not a mod anymore. So can you make me a mod real quick?
As soon as I find you. So, and if this turns out that they arrest somebody other than that, and that individual is not, you're going to have to leave a comment before I can do that.
Okay, I just did.
Really?
Yeah, here.
It's supposed to be going really quickly because I don't see it.
I just
Everyone's looking in the wrong direction, in my opinion. There you go. Look at that, huh? I don't understand why I can't do that. I can't do it. Sorry, I can't do it. I can't make you mod right now. You can put stuff up, but I can't do it from here. I don't know why. But it's not one of the options. I really apologize. Then $355,000 paid off their new house in June 2025. At the same time, Neckbeard signed the POA. I can't find enough stuff on that power of attorney to speak to it intelligently. I just can't. It does seem sketchy. The other thing that really seems, this is it feels like they don't have a united front. They don't come on TV together anymore. Yeah, the FBI and they definitely seem to be at loggerheads. They don't seem to be getting along, and that's unfortunate. It's also somewhat understandable. It's not a particularly rare story in law enforcement. Very often they very often they butt heads because the FBI is very often thought of as the more preeminent law enforcement crew. I don't know whether or not there's any truth to that, but this does seem to be something that causes a lot of people to argue, so to speak. And in this one, there's been issues. Brian Enton said no one knows who it was that put the apps card in the door or when. No, but it was filmed. Most people would assume that they wouldn't go to a house where no one was home and put that in there, right? They wouldn't go to the house after the crime and put that in there. So most people assume that it happened prior to what happened to Nancy being abducted, because that just kind of makes sense.
Thank you, Brock.
Go ahead. We, the public, need a press conference if they expect to get leads. There's something to that, Cynthia. I mean, it would help. They are getting a lot of leads, maybe more so than they think. Tommy, the sheriff is parsing words. He doesn't mention what crimes they are cleared for. Maybe it's just the ransom note crimes. Thoughts? Or it could be that he's saying, we've cleared the fact that he's not the person at the front door, because the number of people who are using artificial intelligence to try to make that person at the front door into the son-in-law is ridiculous. And the number of leads that are coming in, out of the 30,000 leads that are coming in, the percentage of them that are internet sleuths that are just typing in and saying, here's why it has to be the son-in-law. There's a lot of reasons they can say things like that. And there's been a lot of cases over the years where they play the cards ridiculously close to their vest for a reason. We're not going to know until we know. But what's up, Quibs? But you never know. Go ahead.
Lisa Bevel, then I suggest that you leave. That's a really rude comment.
What did she say?
I like your channel, but I prefer you alone, or you're better off alone. Beat it.
Well, there's a better method than that. And you are completely entitled to your opinion. I suggest you have it in the street.
It's rude. Don't do that. It's rude. It's trash.
I suggest you have it in the street. In my opinion, this sheriff's words hold zero weight for me. Laura Beth, I understand why you're saying that. This has been a situation where, from the beginning, this person has told us something and then completely ended up screwing it up. I think most of us who have been here from the beginning remember the timeline and the narrative that the family was at that house for a little over an hour before they called 911. That is one of the things that really started spinning this for a lot of internet sleuths right out the door. And sadly, because of the world we live in now, when you repair that, when you fix it, half of the people are just going to say you're a moderator now. Half of the people are going to say, this isn't really him backtracking. This is a cover-up. This is a conspiracy, right? They were really there for an hour. There's a lot of people that take all of the missteps and believe that in no uncertain terms, these individuals are part of a conspiracy theory. And unfortunately, when they don't talk to you, like our friend just said, if you don't have press conferences and you're just allowing anything to go, this is the biggest problem with there being a vacuum. If you're not telling anybody anything about what's going on in the case, then the theories are just going to get rolling. It's also causing a lot of people to have backlash. I saw some really ugly videos. I saw some really ugly stuff that's been written where they're starting to hate on the Guthries because of how many cases of people that don't get this kind of attention, right? And they're saying this is an elitist thing. And you know what? I'm sure that at some level there's truth to this, but the media goes where the money is. And this is absolutely a story that has the entire world preoccupied. And you can't blame that on the media. The dude who was raided on Friday night's car was towed off the property today. Yeah, they've also, very often when they begin to investigate somebody, they're not necessarily going to grab them right in the beginning. The case is stale. Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, to be honest.
Thank you, Papa Kenny. That's so nice. Thank you, Jennifer Liberty.
Hold on one second.
Thank you, Jennifer. That is such a nice thing to say, guys. That's really kind. Thank you.
Tommy, this sheriff has been so wrong so many times that I would not accept anything until someone is arrested and confess. We are all coming up with hypothesis, and that is not illegal or liable. I tend to agree with this, and I'm sorry, but the safe money Do we know the owner of the Range Rover? We do. I did a show on him yesterday, and he has a awful lot of crimes in his past. Not only does he have an awful lot of crimes in his past, but he also has a history for ratting. Let me see if I still have him in here. Yeah. So his name is, let me see here. His name is Daly, I believe. What the heck is his first name? Anyway, yeah, he allegedly bought the car. This guy hasn't filed a tax return since 2021. He's been busted for guns. He's been busted for meth. He is allegedly, yeah, Luke. There you go. Thank you very much. It's Luke Daly. He also goes by Lucas Daly. His last bust was 2025 on May 15th. Marana police observed him driving in a manner consistent with drug activity, which means they were following him because he probably left a drug house. Anytime they say that, it's just a lie to be able to pull people over. But they pulled him over with a passenger named Kayla Noel Day. A search yielded $1,366 in cash and cell phones containing messages about drug sales. Both were indicted in the Pima County Superior Court case. They got the number for drug trafficking and related offenses. And guess what? Didn't have to worry about doing any time on that one. Why? Because he cooperated. And they said it straight out, right? Straight out, he cooperated. That's, if this guy is involved, I count 3 different times where he absolutely made a deal, right? Absolutely made a deal. One time he got 2 years for a federal drug offense that carried a 10-year sentence. Hold on one second. Yeah, Ashbash, that he was riding around with the woman on one of those buses. So what do you think, Quibs? Is it a problem for people to theorize on one person or another that may have done it? I'm a douchebag for having a theory on this. How does this work out for you?
I don't think you're a douchebag at all, babe. I think you're really cute.
Well, thank you.
I like to get a hold of you.
Mike could work that out.
Everybody likes your Snoopy shirt. We bought those together. We bought those in the Ecuador Mall. We have matching ones.
Yeah.
And I call Tommy Snoopy. Yeah. So I think that this is a very, I haven't been following it as much as you, obviously, and we've said that. And sometimes I don't know why you have me here because I feel embarrassed because it's not my wheelhouse. But I love looking at you and your cute little peanut head.
Well, because I don't sleep anymore, and if I don't drink out here, I'm never going to see you. That would drive me nuts.
And we don't talk as much as we used to because of this.
You are absolutely a true crime widow at this point.
Yes, I am, and I've picked up new things. I have a new coin collection. Been
nice
learning how to knit. Yeah, I have an arrowhead collection. Thank you, Amy G. Been trying some cooking classes while we don't speak anymore. All kinds of things. No, guys, I think that this is a very complicated. I don't fully understand it. There's so many rabbit holes to this case. It seems like and just new things. Therefore, I don't think that you're wrong for assuming something. And then don't we all do that every day, all day?
Yeah. Well, it's also sort of what this channel is.
Are people basically saying that you need to apologize because it wasn't Tommaso, and you were saying
correct? Well, I have said that from the very first day. I like Tommaso for this crime. Statistics will tell you that there's an 8 out of 10 chance it's going to be family or a wildly close associate, right? Just from Jump Street. Mm-hmm. And this guy's behavior and people are going to say, you can't blame someone for their behavior. No, you can't. But people that hide from the press, that's a very unusual thing to do. And both Annie and Tommaso literally hide from the press. They haven't been seen outside since the 3rd. And when they did their Justin Bieber imitation.
And that still doesn't mean that they didn't do it. But guys, I also want to say this. There's all kinds of things that Tommy, I wish I could get an apology for. He won't say sorry to me either.
Oh, stop that. Now asses are going to believe that. The hell's the matter with you? The amount of letters I'm going to get calling me an abuser? You're funny.
Abuser.
What's that?
Babe, come on. Men don't apologize.
People on YouTube don't have a sense of humor, pumpkin. They're going to think
on YouTube really don't like me, so
nonsense.
They're going to be just fine.
This is a good point.
It's guys. I think that it's too soon to tell anything anyway. Who knows? who knows? This poor woman, she's no longer probably with us. And I honestly, even I think it's still Tommaso.
Yeah.
Just based on the little things I know.
There's a lot of people that have reached out to me since this happened that said now that they said that he is not a suspect, I literally at this point like him more than I did. What are we laughing at?
Marilyn, Barbara Waite said, Reese, here's how my husband apologizes. How long are you going to be mad?
I am, between the two of us, who apologizes more? Nothing further.
We're both cancer signs.
What's that?
We're both cancer signs. We are sensitive crabs.
I'm wrong, baby. Every time I'm wrong.
He does, actually, guys. He does.
I agree. Less famous people don't get news coverage, but devil's advocate, famous people also probably receive a lot more threats. Interesting. And hate daily. Is the trade-off worth it? No. I moved to South America, and my level of fame is a 0.0006, and I couldn't handle it. I cannot imagine what somebody with the with the kind of fame that Savannah Guthrie has. When they first reached out to NBC to ask if she ever got threats, or they said, of course, of course she does, tons of them, and they're chasing those people down. But we live in a world now where if you're a public figure, people feel that they can do or say anything, which is kind of a bummer. G-Man, I'm glad you're here.
Damn, both cancer signs, so many feelings. It's so true.
There are some feelings.
Tommy's in his feelings. We both get in our feelings very easily.
Here's the thing. Everyone will say that, we're all entitled to our opinion. That's kind of what we do. But I got people that are popping in and telling me I need to apologize, right? I'm not apologizing for my opinion. And my opinion hasn't changed. It hasn't. From a statistical standpoint, he's still the good bet until they prove that he's not. I believe he wasn't at the house. And if that's what they're ruling out, because how else are you going to rule these people out and say they aren't suspects? That could mean that his DNA, it's his
Brock.
DNA. What?
I said, thanks, Brock. I have a question. I have a real question about this, babe. Can you break this down for me?
Sure, I could try.
Can you kind of go down the list of why you thought it was Tommaso? Was it because of, you said he acted like Justin Bieber. Is there more to it than that? Like, do
Absolutely.
they have any?
Absolutely.
Well, okay, so tell me why you think it was him.
All right. When you start to investigate a crime, and I'm sorry, my chat currently is frozen. When you start to investigate a crime, the very first thing that you're going to look at 100 out of 100 times is, simply put, who is the last person to see if the victim was killed? Who's the last person to see them alive? If the person is kidnapped, who is the last person to see them before they got kidnapped? The last person to see this woman before she got kidnapped was the son-in-law.
Yeah,
right?
That makes sense.
So that's just for starters.
That's a big one.
That is a big one, right? Then the statistics that 8 out of 10 of these are done by family or wildly close associates, people that have been in that house a ton. Then if you look at the dynamic of the actual family, you have a guy that lives in Vermont who seems to be very, very happy and successful. And then you've got Savannah, who is unbelievably, right, successful. And then you've got the other daughter. Now, listen, the people that say that, she writes really dark poetry, I think she's guilty. You know what? Stephen King isn't a serial killer. There are people that write dark poetry that aren't killers, right? But they don't have the same relationship that anyone else does. Everyone else in the family tends to have one religion, and they have a religion that is very, very different from that. There seems to have been some animosity in the past, right? And allegedly, there have been arguments over money. There are a lot of reasons that this guy had the opportunity. He was very close. He was there that night, last person to see him alive. And he has, in my opinion, more reason to do this. If by some chance she were to pass away, that house is 4 miles down the street from Annie and Tommaso, right? The other two live nowhere near that state. So more than likely, they would be the people that might move into that $1 million house over there near Campbell. So it's just playing the numbers. And I've said this from day one. Then on top of it, he's been doing the run and hide thing since this happened. And to me, that's always a little bit unusual. I can understand if you're one of those people that don't want to have to deal with the press and you're not comfortable talking, but he's in a band, right? This is a guy that shouldn't be super uncomfortable being in front of people, right? And You can hate me for this all you want, but I spent a decent amount of time in prison where if you don't judge people on what they look like, then you're in deep, deep trouble. Her life insurance is $11 million. I hadn't heard that. I've not been able to find anything about her life insurance policy. If in fact that's the truth, that's a lot of money. That really
Tell
is
us
a
more
lot.
about that. I want you to keep going about that. So if you don't judge a person on how they look, tell us more about that.
But this guy has a look that for me, and when I'm in prison, right, you look at somebody and you go, is this a guy that I'm comfortable being around? Because if you're not, and you learn to get fairly good at making those decisions, because you can get yourself hurt if you don't. That guy right there doesn't look like somebody I would want babysitting my kids. I'm sorry. Then on top of this, the second that this abduction happens, he starts scrubbing social media, which is really odd. And then, of course, there's the whole hiding from the press.
What do you mean scrubbing social media? What do you mean?
I mean that he had a much larger social media platform, and he started to take everything down. Stephen McBride, I cannot figure out why you would take the body either.
Do you think that he could have been advised to take everything down by FBI?
I would find that unusual, especially since no one else has seemed to have done it, right?
Okay.
So if the FBI was advising everyone, sorry?
He's the only one that's been doing that?
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
It's a little late to be doing that, isn't it? I think I would have done that beforehand, but that's just me. I'm more of a planner myself.
Well, it may just be that he doesn't want all of the trolls and everything. That could be legit, right? But he did it very, everything he's done just makes you look guilty, right? Yeah. And until you get something that is solid, the gambling debts, I haven't been able to prove that anywhere. And I think that if he truthfully had gambling debts, it would be a lot easier to prove. Unless you're betting with a bookie, you're leaving a lot of paper trail. But there's a lot there that looks bad.
Okay, so I have a question. So all the things you named off, is there any proof yet about anything? Like actual solid evidence, like they found this or that? So nope. We're basing this all on behavior, which is totally legit.
Not totally. The other thing is this. The crime scene is at the mother's house. That's where she was abducted. That's where we have a picture on a camera of somebody at the front door, right? But they've spent as much time at Tommaso and Annie's house, looking through that house, taking out stuff. They are absolutely treating them like they are suspects in a very big way.
Did you mention deleted his social media?
Yes. Absolutely 100%. They can say this guy's not a suspect, but they're going to neighbors and the first questions they're asking them are about Tommaso. Looks to me like they think he is. And then on top of that, Ashley Banfield had a source on the inside that said, right now, he's the number one suspect. Now, this was weeks ago, but that came out as well.
I don't know who that is. So I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about people that I know personally. They're extremely private, very introverted, very antisocial people.
Uh-huh.
Is there a chance that his behavior is weird to us, but maybe that's just how he is? Like the hiding his head thing. I know you keep bringing that up, but like, I know people in my life that would do that. No question that would do that. They're very antisocial. They'd be nervous about cameras, media, things like that. They get nervous and high anxiety in social settings, in a regular social setting, in a coffee shop. I can't imagine, like, I'm thinking of someone right now that I know, he would absolutely be hiding his head. My first husband, Michael.
Sure. But he also wouldn't be in a rock band. Right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of rock stars who are super weird and introverted.
They're weird and introverted for different reasons. You know what I mean? Once you get a point where fame really starts to piss you off, but this isn't fame. It would be really good if the press were on your side. He also didn't come out and make any kind of statement. The guy that owns MG Motors came out the second it was over and said, hey, I don't know why the hell you're picking me, man. I had nothing to do with this. All I did was sell a guy a car. By the way, hit subscribe, people. If you just got here, hit the bell for notification and make sure you hit that thumbs up.
And come follow me. Out of pity, because you feel sorry for me. I think that's why people are coming over. I'm almost to 19,000. How many do I need? I just need like 150 subscribers. Brock, can you throw that up there? Because I lost privileges.
No, you didn't. I gave you it back.
I didn't get it back. Well, I didn't get it back yet. That's okay. I think I was spamming the chat too much. Babe,
You
it's
got
okay.
jokes.
It's probably because we're
You got
live.
jokes. You got jokes.
No, I'm serious. I want to break down this behavior though, real quick right here, because everybody's saying no, Reese, he's in a metal band.
I don't have any. They're saying it's not a rock band; it's a metal band.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what they mean.
Hold on, Mike Jensen. Reese, think about a parent if a missing child. Would they hide their head when they see a reporter? I mean, guys, that's a little unfair. I think there's a possibility. Yes, I do think that. I know it sounds crazy, but I do think there are people out there that have high, crazy social anxiety, right? They may have some diagnosis there, and I think it could happen. Yes. People who are afraid of cameras, large crowds, absolutely.
Okay. People that are afraid of large crowds normally don't become performers. And it's odd that both of them just happen to be those two individuals. And I've watched true crime for a really long time. And this is a very rare thing that you see. Most of the time, they look at the press and they think these people can actually make something happen. So they come out and they say things like, please pray for my mother-in-law. And if you could, you see anything weird, look around. If you see something that's off, don't hesitate to call in.
I get it. I'm just thinking of people like famous people. Like, didn't Johnny Depp? He's kind of one of them. There's a lot of famous people who are like scared to do interviews. They can make a whole movie, but then they don't watch their movies and they go home and live on their ranch and they're like super, super antisocial. Daniel Day-Lewis, I think, is like that. I'm just saying it's possible.
It is possible. It's odd in this particular situation is all that I'm saying, Pumpkin. It's normally that's not what happens.
He's a teacher.
He is a teacher.
I've met a lot of weird teachers that are like super antisocial and introvert. I don't know, guys. I'm trying to figure this out. What if it isn't him? Is there a chance it isn't? I think it probably
Absolutely,
is.
there's a chance it isn't. Absolutely, there's a chance that it isn't. In fact, I would say there's a decent chance that it isn't, right? About, if you just take the national averages, there's a 20% chance it's not going to be family or a very close friend, right? 1 out of 5 of these happens from someone that does actually say, okay, I'm going to go after this individual. They target them, they hunt them, they make sure that, but there's a lot that seems very inside jobbish on this, right?
Yeah.
And that makes you wonder.
We talked about this the other night. When there is an abduction, it's like some high statistic that it's family or someone. Yes. So I'm with you. I'm just trying to see. I wanted to know specifically, he rejected a polygraph. Well, see, I didn't know that till the other day that I shouldn't take one.
You don't take a polygraph test. What are you laughing at?
Babe, we've got to do a stream on this sometime because I've only gotten a speeding ticket my whole life. If a cop came up to me and was like, you need to answer all these questions right now, I'd be like, yes, sir. What are they? I'd be afraid. I'd be super intimidated. I need to know my rights, babe.
If they read you your rights and they say you have the right to remain silent, then shut up. It's just that simple. Now, here's the thing. You don't take a polygraph test if they ask you about a crime. This isn't about a crime. It's trying to eliminate you as a suspect. If by chance they just now eliminated him and that's real, that means that they pissed away 14 or 15 days of this investigation because they didn't go out of their way like John Walsh did or like any of the sort of famous cases where people went, do what you want. You want to polygraph me? I'll take a polygraph. You want to search my house? Screw your search warrants. Go over there right now, start searching because you need to stop looking at me and start looking at other people.
Now I have something. I want to spin this, guys. I want to spin this. And babe, I hope I'm not talking too much. What you guys are all giving me these reasons like Reese, he's this, he's that. What if he was the opposite? You'd be saying the opposite. You'd be going, he's too obvious. He's talking to everyone too much. He's doing interviews everywhere. He's in the spotlight. What about Scott Peterson? Wasn't he like super open and like, please help me find my wife? And he went to the candlelight vigils and people were like, he's guilty.
He went to a candlelight vigil while talking to a girlfriend on the other line and telling her he was in Paris.
Anyway, right? It's nobody's fault.
He did a crap load of Xanax and before he went and did an interview. Better would be Drew Peterson was a great example. He loved the spotlight. He was out there making jokes and all of this stuff. But it would really be a bummer, right? If truthfully it took weeks, right, to rule this guy out. That would be a bummer. Here's what I will say in his favor. There's a couple of things. One is that the gentleman from California that ended up getting arrested for trying to do a fake ransom, that was turned over to the police by Annie and Tommaso. That kind of looks good, right, in the good ledger. But they're also the ones that contacted the cops first. Last
Jesse,
people to see
don't
them.
be rude.
Who?
I am so sick of people being rude. If you don't like me, then don't be here, Jesse. I don't care about your passive aggressive comment. God, get over yourself, people. That's rude. You would never go into a place and be like, we don't like you. We prefer his voice. Please shut your mouth. Come on. Have some decency.
I don't think we'll worry about that again. Don't harsh my neck beard mellow, says Jennifer. Look, here's the thing. They have not solved this crime. Plain and simple, they have not solved this crime. So if they want to come out today and say that they have ruled everybody in that family out, I think that that's kind of a difficult thing, right? I really do. But a lot of times they will say things that are just absolute and utter BS, right?
Yeah.
We know in a lot of cases, by the way, including like BTK, they were still saying they had nothing, and I mean nothing on anybody. They had no witnesses. And they had already gotten the discs from him. They had already looked those discs up. They had known that connected to the church, and they got the daughter to agree, to the whole thing. So a lot of times it's just BS. Love your new insight. Gives us all that have been addicted 16 days new perspective. I love that.
Thank you, Kitty. Guys, I'm just thinking about this because Tommy and I get quite a bit of hate. I know there's a lot of just a smidge. We both really get a lot of hate, right? And so what I'm trying to think is this. I say this a lot. I could be in a helicopter throwing out $100 bills to the homeless people, and people would be like, she's a litter bug. So the way I look at this is he's being too secretive and surreptitious, right? Like, and that doesn't add up. He's a teacher. He's in a band. Okay. But again, look at like certain famous people who are introverts. Some people may be autistic or I don't know, but then there's the opposite. He's guilty. Look at him. He's in the camera too much. He's eating this up. He's talking to everybody. He's interviewing with everyone. So I just don't know. I'm just trying to catch up with you guys.
What you're looking for is a happy medium, right? Yeah. You're not necessarily looking for somebody that's going to act like Drew Peterson, but you don't want to look at somebody that goes the exact opposite.
What if someone's like, he's crying too much? Those are fake tears. Or is he even crying? I don't see any tears. Like people do that. Well,
here's the thing. Do you know how many people have come into the chat and said that they think that Savannah has done it? I mean, there's been so many people. The theories are based on everybody. Tommaso is going to sue the heck out of Banfield. Ashley had a thumbnail naming him as a suspect. I assume that what you're saying is that he would be suing for defamation, right? And the defense of defamation is the truth. She doesn't have to come out and prove that he is guilty of anything. She has to come out and prove that a source told her that he was a suspect. And if the source told her that he was a suspect, then she didn't do anything wrong. It may be really, really distasteful in the eyes of a lot of people, but there isn't going to be a lawsuit there, because if she did have a source that said that this was their number one suspect, then there's nothing wrong with what she did, right? If you found out that Tommaso volunteered and passed an FBI polygraph test, would you change your mind about his guilt? Here's the thing. It's not guilt. I'm just saying he's the only suspect I like for this, right? That's all I'm saying. When you look at the entire picture, that's the guy from day one to me that looks like he's a solid suspect. If he were to volunteer and pass a polygraph test, that would go a long way. That would really go a long way. That's usually what innocent people in these particular kinds of cases, this is what they normally do.
And I asked, did anybody else take a polygraph, or was the whole family asked to?
Here's the thing. Truthfully, no one really knows, because this is one of those things that has been reported and re-reported. We don't know the answer to that. That's why I didn't list it when I gave you all the reasons that I like the guy for the crime. It has been alleged that he refused a polygraph, but that is an allegedly. New here. Great points you make. May I say how adorable you two are? Well, thank you. What a kind thing to say. Yeah, that polygraph would go a long way.
Thanks,
it really
on the
would.
hill.
Leonardo DiCaprio was very private. However, if his mom was missing, would he be the same kind of private? Or would he be out there begging for help from the press and saying, please, if you see anything, say something, right? Please pray for her.
We don't know that.
We don't. All I can go on is true crime from the past, right? All I can go on is what, just like 8 out of 10 is going to come back to family or close friends, right? So I play the numbers game, and then I look at how people act. And his actions, to me, don't match up with what normally happens in these. Ann Hill, I'm glad you are here. Thank you for the support.
Can I?
Understand what I'm saying, Pooter?
Yes, honey. Can I ask you something else? Is there anyone else that you have like as a backup for being a suspect, or is it just this
Absolutely
guy?
not. And that's not because it's 1,000% sure that he did it. It's because of the numbers. 8 out of 10, right? The fact that this looks like an inside job, it really does. He had the motive. He had the seemed to be one of the people that would benefit the most from it. Stephen Norris, once again, I mean, I know that if you're into true crime on this, defamation, right? The defense of defamation is the truth. So he sues Banfield and says, I was defamed by her. Why? What did she say? Well, she said that the law enforcement had me as their number one suspect. If law enforcement had him as the number one suspect, he doesn't have a case. So if Ashley made this up and there is nobody in law enforcement that said that, then I would say she has a lot of exposure. But if not, that she didn't say, this guy's guilty as sin. She said, I have a source high up in law enforcement that said this is their number one suspect. By the way, a week later, they doubled down on that.
Thank you, Brock, for posting my channel. Somebody asked for it, that they wanted to come subscribe. Thank you to people who come subscribe. I really appreciate that. And again, I love doing these with Tommy, not just because I don't get to talk to him as much anymore, but I like learning about this stuff. I just hope that you don't mind that I'm slower than the rest of you on the uptick. Thank you, Cindy Lambert. I know this Tommaso guy. I know what you say, you go off of looks. I do that too. I think as humans, we all do that. Mm-hmm. But
it's not the only thing I'm going off either.
Okay.
Right. If it was the only thing, I think that might be an issue.
For whatever reason, he doesn't give me that vibe. You know who gave me that vibe immediately was Rob Reiner's kid, Nick Reiner.
Oh yeah.
He gave me that vibe hardcore, but this guy just looks like a guy with a beard. But all the things.
I see eyes that give me the creeps in every one of the pictures taken of him. It's almost like he never looks at the camera full on. He's always side-eyeing it. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? I think that guy looks a little creepy. That's all I'm saying. And it's an opinion based on what the guy looks like. But that's not why I liked him for the crime. I liked him for the crime because he was the last person to see her alive. He's right down the street. He has a lot of behaviors afterwards that I find unusual. At the end of the day, if anybody but Neckbeard did this, they would have robbed her, stolen jewelry, and or anything worth value. It is odd to me that they didn't take anything of value out of the house. To me, that's absolutely bizarre.
Yeah,
especially what's that?
It's odd.
It's odd. Yeah, I mean, you're already a criminal, right? You're in there, so you're not going to take gold. You're not going to take, drugs, especially pain medication.
Do we know if there was anything valuable in the house?
Well, she had jewelry.
Right. But some people keep their jewelry in a safe.
They might. I don't know. I would imagine that there was some jewelry in that house, but nothing was stolen. And in a $1 million house, I think you can go out on a limb and say that there was probably some valuables, but nothing was stolen. And I think that's odd.
I'm just saying, I worked in senior living, and older people kind of keep their stuff hidden and locked up, and weird. They tuck it in weird places. Do you know how many weird Folger cans of stuff that people don't just leave their stuff laying out all day?
No, but in a home, it's a little different than in a retirement community, right? It's just over the course of 84 years in a home that size, I would imagine there was something in there worth stealing. Right? Yeah. I mean, there was something in there of value, if nothing more than the medicine. Go ahead.
I agree with Cynthia Sweeney. How do we know that nothing was stolen?
Because they have reported that over and over and over again.
I didn't know. I don't know.
Absolutely. They have said that nothing in the house was stolen. There were signs of a struggle, but nothing was stolen. So I would imagine family helped the inventory, that kind of a thing.
Okay.
And usually when people steal something from a house, it's not like the movies, but there's some amount of digging through stuff. It's not, throwing everything on the floor like you see in the films, but people would be looking through drawers, and usually it leaves evidence that somebody was ransacking the house, right? And there doesn't seem to have been anything like that.
Yeah. The hard part would be actually get like his DNA is all over that house, obviously, right?
You would think so. That would make sense. Yeah, you would think so. But that happens in every case, right? In every case, if you go into a house, you're going to get all of the relatives. You're going to get any healthcare providers that come by. So what you do is you take all of those people's DNA, right? And you put that so that you can compare anything new in there. And this is kind of where they're at right now. They said that they found DNA in the house that doesn't belong to anybody. And when they say it doesn't belong to anybody, that's just what they mean. It's not going to come back to a relative. It's not going to come back to somebody that works there. It's a strange DNA, right? Now, we also
strange, right? I mean, she could have had a cable guy in there or something, right? I mean, that's not that to say that. I mean, I don't know.
They're pretty good at chasing down anybody that's been in the house, cable guys, all of that. They do a pretty good job of looking at anything like that.
I still would like an answer to, and I know that you don't have one. I don't know why, but my Chef Brian, you were so nice. It was really, really nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for coming over. I still have this weird intuitive, like there's this red flag going off in my gut, and I don't know why. There's just something to this for me. You said that they got together. She took an Uber to the house, which was 5 miles away or something like that.
Roughly.
Okay, which is so bizarre. That doesn't make sense. And they played a game, and then he took her home. He was the last person that saw her. There's something to that. I want to know more about that. Was that a regular occurrence? Did that happen? They played that every Friday, once a month? Was that a weekly thing, or was that a brand new occurrence? And I'm so confused about an 84-year-old that's kind of immobile taking an Uber 5 miles. That's very strange. That is, your mom is 85. I would be so furious with you if you had your mom take an Uber, and you never would. I know you wouldn't do that. You're not that kind of son.
I'm kidding. Well, here's what they have said, Pooter. She has been known to take Ubers. That's about the most info that you can get. She has used Ubers for other things. I don't think that she likes to drive at night. She has no problem using a car, but my mom doesn't drive at night either, but she wouldn't take an Uber. Somebody in the family would drive her someplace.
Wait a minute. She drove? She had a car?
Yeah, she had a car.
Oh, I didn't even know that. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she still drove, but she didn't drive at night. She didn't like driving at night.
Whine a little bit more. Every Friday?
Wait, every Friday?
Babe, I'm very curious about that. Was it a one-off, or is this a normal thing? Because I don't know why my mind keeps going back to that. It's odd.
Yeah, and again, all we know is that she has been known to take Ubers. I found that really, really odd too, man. A 98% vote of no confidence for the sheriff. That says a ton, and that is by the union. That's by the people that work for him. Sorry, try this again. Is it weird? There were signs of a struggle, but they treated it as a missing elderly woman at first. Yeah, there was also blood on the front steps. How was it? I mean, did they not come across that? It's another one of those things that really makes you wonder just how much we're getting the truth, number one, and how bad they are at all of this.
Caitlin.
Knock it off, Katie. Come here, fat cat. Again, who knew she'd be alone that night, right? Could have been visiting her own family. That was Saturday night. Savannah wouldn't be in New York until Monday, so who knew that Nancy Guthrie was alone?
Okay.
The son-in-law?
And Steve Norris is asking about this backpack. Have they not released what was? Wait.
Well, they haven't found the backpack, so they have no idea what's in it.
Okay.
Yeah, they have images of it. They know where it was purchased from. I mean, what stores sell them, I should say. They don't know where it was purchased from, but they do know that it is a Walmart-style backpack.
Honeybee, you make a good point. See, I'm trying not to be judgmental about any of this, or like quick to judge, right? She says, why is it bizarre to take an Uber? Independence is important, and the older you are. I have argued this for days because I worked in senior living, and the older people get, the more you do need to respect their independence. And I'm a firm believer on that, just so you know, honey. But I still... And this is why I did a show and I was talking about, like, why didn't Savannah, with being worth 50 million, why didn't she, hotwire the house with cameras and all that? And then I found myself being too judgmental because you don't fix what's not broken. Right.
Right.
But I will say, honey, it's just if independence is one thing, but if we're going to have a family game night and have dinner together or whatever it is they did, why wouldn't you go pick up? If you're going to take her home, why didn't she take an Uber home? Right?
Yeah,
Why did she just take an Uber there? If you're going to go take her home, why wouldn't you go pick her up if your mom is 5 miles down the road?
I agree.
That's she had her independence. She
But
already
Mike
had that.
Jensen's right. A lot of elderly people in Tucson don't drive, especially in the Catalina foothills, because of how undulating and unforgiving. You remember those roads, babe? I mean,
Oh, that's terrifying.
you drive through the foothills at night, and it's dip, it's up, it's down, it's kind of vicious. That's a lot of wandering off, badass. I mean, if you take where most of the homeless encampments are, they'd be hiking a really long time. It's a possibility, but that guy didn't look homeless to me. All of the stuff that guy was wearing looked brand new, right? He had that backpack looked brand new. The clothing looked good. He managed to purchase gloves. He had a gun. Those are things that most homeless people don't have.
Okay, MJ, Annie, she thinks only had one car and maybe she was at work still. See, there's an answer for everything. I don't want to just suspect something. Caitlin,
Newcastle. I don't know enough about the power of attorney or what kind that she had, and it's difficult to chase that down.
and of course, let me ask you this, babe.
Sure.
There's all kinds of details they're not releasing, right? Like there's all kinds of stuff we're asking questions to that they know the answers, right? But they're not releasing. Is that true, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. In every single case, there's always all kinds of stuff because you have to leave some stuff back, right? For a lot of reasons. Number one, if you tell everybody exactly what the crime scene looks like, then the people who are writing in and saying, we're the kidnappers, you would like them to be able to say, hey, while we were in there, we broke a candlestick. You would have found it right next to the couch. If no one but knows that, a lot of times they keep things back, a lot of it back. My theory on this, and it's just one theory. I have there's no earthly reason why somebody wears a gun right over their genitals, right? Unless you absolutely want someone to see it. Maybe that's an intimidation thing. Maybe because you're not going in there to rob a house, you're going in there to kidnap somebody, and you really want to make sure that they are intimidated by you, right? The balaclava and the gun, I think, would be a good point. Okay, are you asking about the 40 minutes, or are you have a theory about the 40 minutes? Because if I try to go back and find it, it's going to take. Let me see here. The 40 minutes is odd, right? The only thing that I could come up with is that maybe they were trying to get their images off of all of the devices in the house. You understand what I'm saying? You know how you get a tone every single time somebody, an animal walks by one of your cameras? Well, that would have been on her phone. That might have been on her laptop. It might have been on, her tablet.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Do you know if do we know anything about the relationship with these guys? Like, was it strained? We don't know. See, that's
really
the other thing. Like, sometimes mother-in-laws, like what if there was super strained between the two of them, Tommaso and her?
Well, there are people that are theorizing that because they are Wiccan, and I don't care. Don't hate on me. I don't care what your religion is. However, if the mother is devoutly Christian and so are all of the siblings, but she and her husband are Wiccan, that can cause a rift in the family. Thank you, Bernsey. You look great in green. That can cause a rift with the family. That's a reality for some people. So there are people that theorize that. To be really honest with you, though, I got no way to tell on that. I really don't.
Well, I was going to say, and also, what do we know about Nancy? Like, do we know anything about her personality? I guess I'm just saying there could have been, there's so much to this we would never know. What if she was, very judgmental of them being Wiccan? You guys are saying he's in a metal band. What if he was super disappointed and disgusted by that? I'm sorry, but seniors get offended a lot by tattoos, right? Like, what if she was disapproving of him in some way? I don't know.
You know what, though? In all honesty, when I researched that, Oh, badass. That's been reported everywhere. They're definitely Wiccan. She has a little business, side hustle business selling crystals. Apparently she's very into divination and some other stuff. Again, no problem with that. However, when I researched the family dynamic, which is not super easy to find, but allegedly they get along fantastic. Allegedly, the son-in-law and the mother get along, and the mother-in-law get along fantastically. That's what the reports have been. However, there have also been neighbors that said, as soon as they found out that she was gone, they said, "Yeah, you got to check Annie." There are neighbors that literally said that.
Yeah, because reports of anything, you always read that like a source of the family says there are commercials for every marriage, every family dynamic. I'm sorry, but what you see on social media is not what you see behind closed doors. I was married to someone who was, everybody that met him said, "Oh my God, he's so great. He was super abusive." And no one knew that, right? And you know that. So I'm just saying that can also be, I don't always believe when people say they got along great.
There has definitely been a lot of talk about people that are saying that they had asked to borrow money and had been turned down. That's what I'm saying, guys. What if somebody in the band could totally be related to the whole judgmental thing out of hand? It could be. I mean, I think if it's not somebody in the family, it's going to be somebody that knows this person well enough that they knew they could go through that door and not find somebody on the other side with a gun, right? They knew she was going to be home alone. They knew all of those things, right? Ann Bauman says, "My daughter lives 1.1 miles from me. I have been known to walk to her home as she's getting busy or ready." Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I promise you, I'm not making the Wiccan thing up. We've talked about it here on this show now for a hot minute.
Thanks, guys. That's Bobo. Yeah, I think there's just so much that we just don't know. And I hate to do that, but working with seniors, they can be snippy and hard to deal with based on your religion or your culture or anything, right? And if he was in a metal band, that could have been a problem. I don't know.
No, it could have been. You're absolutely right. And Jonathan Gillum said it's unheard of to clear family until she's found. I can give you another case where it happened, right? They found DNA on John Benet Ramsey's sleepwear, her clothing that didn't match anyone, and they ruled out the family like that early on. And now to this day, we're 30 years later, and it is still kind of assumed that it very well may be family. It is rare that this happens, and it tends to screw up as well. Sadly, it's a dangerous thing. You want to rule them out, but you don't necessarily want to admit that until the very end. Elizabeth, can I read your super chat? Let me see if I can find it.
Yes, Charlene, he's a poodle. He just got a haircut though, so his little curls have been snipped off.
Did you see a super chat there, Pooter?
I did not.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Can we see her name?
Yes, I can see her name, but I do not see. Okay. Yeah, I think it is odd, and we have two agencies, right? We after the raid the other night, the Pima County Sheriff's Office came out and said, "Hey, we're not going to give you any statement tonight about what just happened because this is a joint venture, and the FBI doesn't want us telling you anything." Basically,
guys, and I'm not trying to downplay. I'm just trying to look at all angles.
Oh, I think what you're doing is fantastic.
Well,
I think it's healthy.
But I also think people should go with their first thought on things, right? You should go with your gut. And if the guy is suspicious, he's suspicious. You don't have to explain yourself. It makes sense.
Here you have to explain yourself. It's not good enough to have a theory, right? We want to hear why you have a theory. It's absolutely something that you have to explain yourself. It's what we do. This is what true crime is, at least the way we do it, right? If Tommaso was involved and he maybe used a burner phone to let the mappers know she's alone, that would be the main advantage to wait until 2:15 to break in. Interesting. Interesting. He definitely could have been in a position to tell anybody that was doing this with him that she was home alone. And again, these are the small things, Laura Beth and everyone else. These are the small things that make me think inside job. Makes me think that family is involved in this. And if I'm wrong, and right now I'm not apologizing, as far as I'm concerned, they haven't proven this. You know when they're going to prove it to me? When they put handcuffs on somebody and they go, "This person has never met these people." That at that point, I'll go, hey, absolutely, I was wrong. But the apology will be to you guys, not to him. This is what we do in true crime. Everybody that has come here with a theory, right? This is what we talk about.
And honey, I'm not saying you can't group everybody together. And I don't know what part of the world you live in, honey. I came from the Midwest. She says a lot of us seniors lived through the hippie era and we don't judge heavy metal tattoos. I don't think that you should speak to too many groups of people.
Right.
I don't do that either because I worked in senior living and a lot of them are strict. They're not rude, they're not bad people, but they're strict about their beliefs and they don't really budge on things. So I don't necessarily agree with that. But then there's tons of people who are hippie, like you said, and they don't care, right? There's still that too. The other thing Amy said, what about somebody at church? Because people will talk about church people talk about their finances. And I don't disagree with that, but she didn't go to church, correct? She did it like a streamed from home, correct?
Yeah, she would do a stream from someone else's home. They would go get together. And that doesn't mean that, I mean, she didn't go to her church anymore. She still knew a lot of people from that. It's not like she didn't, she still had friends in the church, but she was attending a church in New York through a Skype. She and a friend would get together. That was the friend that called the family to say she didn't show up. And Allie makes a good point, right? Koberger was not a suspect, and then they arrested him, right? That also happened with BTK. We have nobody. We don't know what we're doing. Boom, they got him the next day. They had already got his daughter to give DNA up so that they could absolutely prove who he was. It happens a lot. It really does, for a lot of reasons.
And, again, guys, I worked in senior living, but I just saw, imagine that said, we're old, not dead. You're misreading what I'm saying. I love seniors and I have the most respect for them. So I don't know if that was meant to be snarky. I don't know, but I will tell you, yeah, I marry old men. So, and Tommy, I mean, extra crispy. Tommy is like a little rookie. 14-year age gap is
nothing.
Rookie numbers. Okay. But I will say seniors to me are people in their upper 80s and 90s. Anything below that, I don't really feel like is.
Yeah, you make a good point. A lot of people after COVID, and that's what has been reported about Nancy. She stopped going to church because during COVID, if you were going to worship, you were going to do it through that Skype type of a setup. So that's when she stopped going. In your opinion, I can understand a robbery ending in death, but can you think of any possible reason to take the person after a robbery? What could go wrong to go to that route? Again, if it's a robbery, I don't understand. The gun thing looks to me like it's there to intimidate. And robberies traditionally, if you're going to rob a business, you can do it in the middle of the night. If you're going to rob a house, you usually do it during the day because they don't want to not know where someone is. You go into that house probably had 5 bedrooms. How do you know there isn't somebody in one of those bedrooms that's going to come out with a shotgun, right? If it's random, it's one of the most dangerous thing in the world.
Love you, Jen P. If your brother-in-law killed your mom, wouldn't you pick up on a vibe? Yeah.
I think I would.
Yeah, Lisa, yes. I pick up on vibes when I go to Target. Like, you guys know when you know, right? And I'm not just saying like stereotyping people. Have you ever met someone, even in a group, and people are like, oh, he's great, everybody loves him. And you're like, yeah, I got a weird vibe. Do you ever get that feeling? And like, you have to,
Sure.
you have to suppress it because other people tell you like how great they are, but you got a weird vibe. Yeah. I would think you would know or get a feeling.
Yeah. Papa Kenny says dead bodies don't talk. They don't, but you don't have to take them home to keep them from talking. Here's another theory. What if there were a van that dropped off several people for robberies, but it went bad, and the only reason that we're hearing is because Savannah is her daughter? If it's a robbery and you go through the front door and you all of a sudden have to hurt this old woman, I don't think you're going to abandon the robbery, right? You went in there to steal stuff. You're not going to get any money by taking this woman. You're already in there. You're in there for 40 minutes and you're not going to take one thing. That seems really odd.
How do we know it was 40 minutes?
Because of the camera at the front door, timing it from that point to when the pacemaker disconnects from her watch.
Okay.
You know what? This is kind of a hard thing to argue, right? The perp took her to inflict maximum pain on the family, revenge or a grudge. I mean, honestly, that's a theory that makes sense. I hope that that's not the case. But since we don't see anybody showing proof of life, we don't see anybody that seems to be trying to do this. Do we know if it was a real gun? I do not, badass. I don't know if it's a real gun.
Yeah, did she have motion lights?
Yes, somebody smashed them off of the side of the house in the back.
No way.
Yes way. They were hanging disabled. They've since been removed, but they were hanging disabled.
Yikes, that's scary, babe. Remember when you put all those motion lights around my house?
Yes, it took 6.5 weeks. I'm kidding, but there was a lot of them. It was a grand undertaking. Do I believe the sheriff? I do not yet. I believe he may even believe it, but until I see something else. I don't think she was dead before she left the house, Stephen. Most of the people that talk about this pacemaker say that that's something we would have been able to see. Instead of it just disconnecting, we would have seen the activity because it's a pacemaker / defibrillator. So if she had died inside the house, then we would have seen on the watch, which just records what happens, that it was trying to shock the heart back into rhythm. At least that's what they have said. If the reward was $1 million instead of $100,000, that person would be turned in tomorrow. I think that's a possibility. I really do.
Yeah, and I like everybody's saying I still feel like Tommaso did it. And guys, I think that's perfectly fair. That's what I was saying. If you feel it, you feel it. I mean, none of us are 100% on that. You're not wrong. No one's going to tell you not to trust your instincts. Honey, you didn't even say hi to Kid.
Kid! Boy, did she lose weight, man. You sure that is the same cat, right? You didn't, something didn't happen to Kid and you replaced her with a thinner version?
Okay, let's not true crime the cat.
Hey, that cat lost half of its body weight. I'm just not 100% convinced it's the same cat.
I would get rid of a person before I would get rid of a cat.
That's the spirit. They said her pacemaker showed an increase almost immediately when the person entered the home. The house is 3,000 plus square feet. Makes me think the person knew the layout of the house where her room was. To me, it seems pretty obvious that the person knew a lot about this house. Tommy, you have a very pretty wife. You make a beautiful couple. Thank you. What a kind thing to say.
Wow. Hey, Brock, will you put, well, there's 930 people in here. Will one of you come subscribe? I'm almost to 18,000 on my channel. Yeah, Ms. DJ, I get it. She gets weird vibes. Brock, if you don't mind, would you guys come over and subscribe to me, even if you don't feel like supporting and watching? Just
check out the channel. Knock that off. Check out the channel. I think you'll find it entertaining. She lets her hair down over there. Watch Savannah Guthrie's video from yesterday. Many experts think she might know who it could be and was talking directly with them with her message and her body language. A lot of people have been saying that. This, again, is something that is outside. The channel is called Relatable Reese. I am. This is outside my ability.
Tonight, you got no mod. Where are the mods?
I gave them the night off.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. I don't know where the mods are, but yeah, that's not really my wheelhouse. I'm not particularly good at figuring out. There's Brock. Bandy.
Thank you, Brock. Guys, Brock just posted it. Charlene, he just posted it under you. Thank you, guys. Come over and subscribe. Honestly,
folks, I can't tell how, what's going through Savannah's Guthrie's mind when she's doing it. It certainly had a very different. It had a different tone. It had a different feeling, and she looked just abused. But I think that may have an awful lot to do with how long this has been going on, right? This has got to be hell on earth for these people, right? It literally has to be. Have we heard how the person entered? Broken glass, does noise startling Nancy, or the persons? Honestly, we don't know.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Lucky, that was a really cool thing that you said. Thank you. And yeah, New Zealand, you don't have to watch. Just come over. And
I swear to God, keep saying that. And I'm just going to do this one and knock you off of it. That makes no sense. Sherrif said the family isn't suspect, but that doesn't mean that Tommaso hasn't hired it to be done. You know what, Edward? Honestly, I kind of said the same thing. What exactly did they say that they're cleared of for a crime? Because it is ambiguous. You want me to read this to you guys one more time? Check this out real quick. Oops, look at that. You'd think I knew what I was doing. I don't, but you might think that. To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, have been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. So they've been cleared as possible suspects. Now, the guy at the front door, they're saying, is the only suspect, right? So maybe they're saying that there's no chance that Neckbeard is the guy at the front door. It could be saying a lot of different things. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. Then he kind of backwalked it. Go ahead.
I have a question, honey. This is a dumb question, but I know the FBI took over, right? Does that mean they take over and the sheriffs back off, or do they work together?
No, that would be awesome, right? That would be awesome, but that's not exactly what happens. So the jurisdiction still falls on the Pima County Sheriff's Office. So in theory, what needs to happen is they need to do things like legwork. The FBI is going to come in and they're going to offer a lot of support. And really what they're going to be able to bring to bear is unbelievable amounts of testing from Quantico, really cool testing where you can not only test DNA, but immediately put it into the CODIS system. You can test the rubber and find out who manufactured it. Like they can do things. The sniffer that they're using currently, they have a device that they're calling a sniffer, Quibs. And allegedly, you can fly over with a helicopter and start to try to track the pacemaker. Obviously, you could never do that without some really hopped up technology that the feds have.
What a time to be alive. But that makes sense to have that technology, and I'm glad that we do.
Yeah, you would. It blows my mind that they have it, but.
Just Joan, thank you for your comment. I'm an ex-Scientologist, guys. That's all. That's why you don't like me. That's why tonight on my channel, I said what the moose said. I'm a sardine.
Yeah. Sardines. FBI hasn't cleared him, so I will stand by my statement. I'm not. Look, I still like him for this crime, and that is just a true crime opinion. Until they give me a suspect that looks better to me. Imagine that. We don't know if it's going to go fed or not. If the person that did this drove across a state line, this is going to be interstate kidnapping, and it will be a federal offense. If the person that did this used the internet, hey DNV, use the internet to contact anyone, then it's going to become a federal crime.
Marvelous. Brock, can you get rid of that person? That is so rude. Take Reese off the panel. She's annoying as fuck. Get out of here.
Do me a favor and don't read the asshole's comments out. For real, you're platforming somebody I don't want to platform. Brock knows what to do. If these Circle K and other business cams are not showing vehicles of interest, does that lend credibility to why they have been searching near Miss Guthrie's home, as in perps never left the area? That's as good a theory as I've heard from anyone. Honestly, it's as good a theory as you're going to hear from anyone. They certainly are canvassing the hell out of that area, right? They are absolutely spending a lot of time there. They also took out bags of evidence, right? They took out paper bags. So this is one of those situations that you're left to wonder, right? There's a reason Ashley Banfield said that these individuals are suspects. It wasn't just something that they came up with off the top of their head.
Jersey lady, it was a really cute thing that Tommy and Johnny's father said. We called him the moose, and he's so cute. And he would say, "We're sardines. I'm a sardine. You either love or you hate a sardine." I really liked that. I liked that depiction.
Actually, I think he was saying it about me and Johnny Scoville. Do me a favor.
I looped myself in with that because.
Oh, you should. But he never said it about himself. Everybody loved my dad. But Johnny and I are more along the lines of Reese as well. You love us or you hate us. You don't run into a lot of people that go, yeah, I don't mind the Scovilles. It's usually, I want to send the police to have them arrested, or I love those guys. What if he had the other two guys in the band, like Dominic, help, since he looks tall, too tall anyway to stay removed? Yeah, and here's the thing, man. This is his band member, right? We've done this here as well, but this is his band member, and his band member has a rap sheet. Now, I do too. I'm not picking on anyone for having a rap sheet, but that lip right there looks to me, right, that it very well may be the same thing. Doesn't mean it is, but it sure looks like it. What do you think, Boo?
I think it's a total match.
It looks like one. And that's a band member. Now, the band member could have done that without Neckbeard knowing about it, right? I doubt it, but it could be.
Macam Sue, that is so nice. Thank you.
I do believe that interest in this case is waning overall. I do. And this happens all of the time in cases like this, right? It happens all the time. If they drag on, people tend to start to lose interest in it, unfortunately, right? But that's kind of the reality, right? It's kind of the reality. It sucks, but it is.
And Brock, I hope that you didn't feel like I was shaming you. You were doing your best. Kristen just showed up. Kristen, thank you. Brock, thank you. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. Mods are hard workers.
Boy, especially over here, man. I go live a lot, and we have the chat rate's been, 2.6, 3.2. We've had a really rugged chat rate, and they've been doing a great job. Yep. And you know what? We only pay them about 40 grand a year. It's a lot of work for, we don't give them anything. I can't back that up. They work really hard, and most of them have been doing it here for a really long time. I love you guys. I really do.
Yeah. Very much appreciated.
It feels like the case is dead. I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not. Go ahead, Quibs.
Thank you for coming over and subscribing to my channel. I've really enjoyed meeting you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm absolutely open to other ideas. As of this moment, I just don't see a lot, right? And until the suspects tend to come out of the woodwork, then you go with the stuff that has worked in policing for literally at this point now going on a couple of 100 years, right? So you go with the basics. And the first thing that you do is you check who was the last person to see the victim alive, or in this case, before kidnapped. Then you go with, proximity, right? Who could get there? Who could pull it off because of where they're at? Because if there's a family member, but he lives in Boston, you can pretty much rule them out at least as being somebody that was intimately involved and near the scene. So you start going through all of these, and maybe the FBI and the local police have spent the last 14 days investigating Neckbeard and the family, only to now say that they're not suspects. I suppose that's a possibility. It's going to be sad if that's the case, because it means that they could have been looking for whoever did this for the last 2 weeks. Normally, you can eliminate family members as suspects much quicker than that. But there are definitely people who will get tunnel vision and get myopic about it. I would like to believe that if they show me reason to think that it's somebody else, that I will be there. I've changed my mind on plenty of other cases in the past. But at this point, this is kind of where we're at.
Crazy chat.
I tend to think that she's passed as well, and that's a bummer. I would love to believe that she's still alive. At this point, it's a little bit hard to believe that would be the case, especially in light of the fact that she needed medication and allegedly doesn't have them, right? The band name is Early Black. Thank you. I've been trying to remember that for a hot minute.
Hey, Christy Wolf.
Sorry. Thank you, Rue. I really appreciate that. Rue is fantastic. Rue's always.
I love Rue.
I do too.
I was really happy to see Rue tonight in my chat. Rue's been going through it.
Yeah, I love Rue. I'm hoping they have a major break soon. The authorities look like they aren't interested in certain individuals for some reason. It's strange. Johnny will be here tonight at midnight. He is playing the guitar currently. No, he's modding. He's always here modding. Mopman says, Mopman's usually bringing the good ones. What if Nancy didn't approve one of her other relatives' boyfriends, and she told them often they got revenge by getting rid of her, possibly asking Tomato or his band members to help? There are a lot of possibilities in this. I know a lot of people are really making a lot about the alleged card that was left at the house from Protective Services, right, for senior citizens. If it turns out that is real, that's a frightening thing to me, because it means that somebody called and said she was being abused. Or I was told yesterday by somebody, and I assume that this is the truth, that if someone calls and says, we want to change power of attorney for some reason, very often they come out to make sure that the person isn't being roughed up to do that. Correct. Nancy can drive, but she doesn't drive at night.
I guess I didn't think she drove because I just thought she was more physically unable than that. Good for her. I'm glad she could drive. I did not know that.
Charlene says, I'm leaning toward Luke and Zach. You know something? And I can completely understand why you are. It seems a really good sign that they have gone back to that, to the scene where they grabbed those people from, right, where the arrest happened. They're going back. They're working that angle. So it's not like Carlos where it was like, poof, done. They're continuing to work those two. So that very well could be it.
Jen P, I did not see that comment, and thank you guys. I need 4 subscribers to get to the 900 or 6 subscribers to get to the 900 mark. So I need 106 subscribers to get to 18,000. So we're getting close, and I appreciate you supporting me, building my channel. Thank you. Thank you for that. I really, really appreciate it.
With all of the vacant snowbird homes for burglary, wouldn't those make better smash and dash as opposed to lived in dwellings? I'll say this one more time, right? From a statistical standpoint, people rob houses during the day. They rob businesses at night. They rob houses during the day. In both cases, they do this because they don't want someone to be inside when they come in. They don't want to get shot, right? So they absolutely do it in that way. There's kid. That's usually how it works out. And to go into someone's house, if you don't know what's on the other side of the door at 2:00 in the morning, is suicide. Because in America, there's 3 guns for every American, right? There's 900 million guns and there's 300 million Americans. What do you think about Savannah? What do you think Savannah meant when she said, "You are not lost and we are here"? You know, I'm not good at this, right? I am not good on this. The name Kayla Day is listed on elder abuse site. I got to trace that down, Tracy Pat. I haven't seen that. The only place I saw that name had something to do with the 2 gentlemen that are 2 miles away, right? The guy that owns MG Motors and his friend. And I do have pictures of them, but it's law enforcement's not running with it. I feel weird putting up stuff when they're not. Anyway. It's interesting. I wish I understood stuff like that better. And I mean this. I'll go over and watch the behavior panel. There are people over there that are very good at dissecting the kind of words that people use. But I think very often, at least in some of the original stuff, you've got the original statements. A lot of that was being written by the FBI. They helped them write those statements. And a lot of times if somebody helps you write a statement, then you're going to be probably a little bit more uncomfortable trying to read it, in my opinion.
Charity McPherson, that is such a nice thing to say. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Annie's side of the family owed Nancy money for something. This is a theory. And there was a dispute, and this was to take her out of the equation. I think that that's as good a theory as any other right now. I always like money as a motive, right? Revenge is a motive too. But my God, how bad do you have to want revenge to kill a very, very old woman, right? A woman who's in her 80s, has a great life, has nothing to do with anything. That really seems odd to me, man.
Thank you, Brock. It is, Jen P. It is. The cat's name is Kid. We have 3 cats.
Oh, it's so much cheaper here. You want a little perspective? I can go to the emergency room for almost anything as a human being for $58.
Yeah.
For $58 out of pocket, and they will get you in 2 seconds. They will see you and treat you before you fill out the first piece of paper. I think Savannah believes her mother has passed and wants a body and answers to why she was robbed of the time her mom's final years. Oh, it's so sad when you think about it that way, isn't it? I mean, we talk about this stuff and we come in and we weigh in on it, and I love it. I really do. This is what we do. But it's great when somebody brings it back to what we're really doing, and what we're really doing is that this person has been robbed of her remaining years in life, and so has her family, right?
Yeah, it's horrible. I just hope it gets solved. Like every day that goes by, I keep worrying, babe. What if nothing comes of this? Are you sure it will? What if it doesn't? It will.
It will. The technology that they have today to track people down, sometimes it takes a long time. The example that I always like to bring up is that The person that blew stuff up in Washington D.C. was laying off bombs, right? They found one bomb that didn't go off. They disassembled that bomb, and piece by piece, they took it apart. They tested the gunpowder, found out who the manufacturer was, and they traced all this back to where did they buy the wires? Where did they buy this? Where did they buy that? And then they went and started grabbing video. It took them 5 years, but that dude is now incarcerated.
Wow. That's sad. I hope that this gets solved. I'm worried that it's going to go on for a really long time.
Ilaria Love. Wow. If your name is Ilaria, it's only the second person I've ever met with that name. And I believe it is it's a name also that is in one of the first Star Trek shows ever. I read something about a letter to TMZ saying that they saw her in Mexico. They did. And you want to talk about something to me that does not pass the smell test? This person said, I know what I saw in Mexico 5 days ago. It was definitely Nancy in the house. And when I walked in on it, right, there were a bunch of guys in there apparently that were guarding her according to this guy's statement. And when he walked in, they said, you need to keep your mouth shut. I'll tell you something. Someone walks in and catches you with a woman that everyone on planet Earth is trying to find. I don't think you say, keep your mouth shut and let them walk out, right? That to me seems really, really odd, but everything about that seems odd. He wants $100,000. The reward is $100,000, but he wants it in Bitcoin. He doesn't want to have to deal with the FBI. And his reason for that, because he was convicted of a burglary 10 years ago. The hell does that have to do with anything?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I like Kayla Day and Luke Daly. Luke Daly in particular, he's got a long rap sheet. He rats a lot. He hasn't filed any taxes since 2021. Everything that the guy owns is in someone else's name. All of these things he's renting under his mom's name. He absolutely on paper looks like a criminal. When they picked him up, he had text messages in his phone that proved he was still in the process of dealing drugs. And there was a text in there that said something about a big score coming up. Now, granted, that could be a coincidence, but I do kind of like that as a theory. However, I still think that they wouldn't have picked her randomly out of a hat. Somebody in the inside would have hired them. That's just my opinion. And Ted Kaczynski, another one that was odd. Go ahead, babe.
Papa Kenny, I appreciate you explaining that to me like that. Reese, they may have someone in their sight, but do not have enough to convict them. I just appreciate the way that he.
Well, that happens all of the time.
Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. Yeah, no, I don't follow and understand this stuff. You know how you have to explain stuff to me. You know how I don't understand some things just because of my background. He explained that in such a way that I could.
Well, here's a perfect example. When I was wanted for bank robbery, they brought me in for an interrogation. Right? They knew I was guilty, but they didn't have enough, and they were hoping I was going to say something or confess. And they let me walk out that night. I went back 3 more times. And after walking out the 4th time, they got me the next day because someone that they were interrogating cut a deal, turned me in. Cool pics. You look fantastic in green.
I have a question, babe.
Uh-huh.
If this happened to someone in our family,
right?
And everybody, let's say I have a sister, right? Let's say they were asking everyone to take a lie detector test. I would think, wouldn't that be kind of a difficult time to do that? I mean, isn't there a chance that I took those all the time in Scientology, but it's not the same thing. Wouldn't you potentially fail just because of the nerves and everything happening? Would you say no?
That's a great question. That is a great question. Now, here's the thing that people don't seem to get. Let's say that this is your baseline, because they ask you all kinds of questions to establish a baseline. And then when you tell a lie on one of the test questions, it spikes up. It doesn't matter if your baseline is here or here or here or here. If you're stressed out to beat hell, you're going to be stressed out to beat hell, right? Everything will show that. But when you get to the questions that are deceptive, it's going to be the difference in that baseline. You follow?
Yes, but here's the thing. Coming from Scientology for 38 years, having to do what's called the e-meter, where you hold the cans, it's a fake kind of their version of a lie detector. Uh-huh. You know, when they asked me questions to security check me, like they would ask me really bizarre, of course, like sexual questions, right? I wasn't guilty of those things, but I was scared. I was nervous answering them. And the person would look at the needle on the dial and go, what are you thinking about right there?
But the difference is they're not getting a baseline. So when you do a polygraph, instead of a floating needle, right, you have 8 different points, right, that are going like this, up and down. And then you get a baseline. So if you're nervous, they're doing this all the time. It's the difference between whatever the baseline is. Think of the baseline as 10. That's what a normal person would be at. So you go in there and you're friggin' terrified and your base level's a 20. It's still going to spike to a 30 when you're lying. It is the discomfort in your body. And instead of just one thing with you holding the cans, which is like a galvanic reflex or whatever, they're doing your heart. They're doing galvanic reflex. There's like 3 or 4 different things that they're hooking up. There's a blood pressure device. All of these different things are then reporting down to the, so it's not a needle. It is a much more, that's why people call it a Timu lie detector. Who is Chris Watts? Chris Watts was a guy that killed his wife and his children so that he could go off with one of his, a girl he was having an affair with, who, by the way, should definitely have been incarcerated, in my opinion.
Okay, Mike says the pro polygraph. Okay, yeah. Thank you for explaining this, Mike. Take nervousness into account. They know how to adjust for each situation. So that's probably accurate, right? Like if your mom is
100%.
missing, you might be
100%.
sweating, you might be crying, you might be shaking. So my question is this: if they take all that into account and they know that, why wouldn't you just take a polygraph? But you told me never to do it.
I said I wouldn't take a polygraph because I was always guilty. I'm not taking a polygraph if I'm guilty. If my mom disappears, right? I was a criminal. Criminals don't take polygraphs because they're not admissible in court. They're not going to save you, but they are absolutely in a position to screw you over. However, there are states that it is admissible. New Mexico is one of them.
Oh, I was going to say, so if they're not admissible in court, what's the point? Who's it for? The authorities?
Very often it's used to rule people out. The fact that someone will say right off the bat, I know this isn't admissible in court, but this is going to help you eliminate me as a suspect, I'll happily take it. That's usually, one of those situations.
Can you ever force someone to take one?
No.
You can't? So a judge can't force you?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. What if there was an ultimatum given to the family member, wanted to hurt them? No robbery, no kidnapping. Nancy no longer with us, unfortunately. I'm worried, man. I'm worried that she's no longer with us. I'm sorry.
See you, Bill. I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm very new to true crime, Cynthia Sweeney.
You have a question.
I know. Just never mind. It passed. I don't know what it was. It had to do with a lie detector.
So here's the thing. They're going to ask you baseline questions like, is your name Reese? Right? They ask baseline questions so that they can see what you're like when you're answering questions that don't have crap to do with anything. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then when so out of all the questions that they ask, Reese, there's going to be 4 of them that actually has something to do with it. And those questions would be like, do you know where Nancy Guthrie is right now? Do you know who was involved in this crime? So there's going to be 4 questions, normally 4, that are going to be the important ones. The rest of them are just to determine what the baseline is when you're being honest, because your name obviously is Reese. So no matter how much you're nervous, your name is still going to be Reese, right? It's going to be the difference between what the baseline questions are and what the panic questions are. It's just that simple.
I thought of my question.
Good.
Will we know this? I'm assuming they already have experts looking at all of the family members, right? Like body language experts, behavioral experts. Are they? But we won't know that, right? Like, is there any? Okay, there are experts out there though that just do this stuff. Is there anyone speaking to it that truly is an expert in this area?
Well, yes and no. There are some people out there that are amazing at doing stuff like reading body language. They are being wildly respectful of this case. So they're not talking about whether or not people are honest or dishonest. They're talking about stressors and things like that. But it's just one of those weird situations. This case is bizarre. It's dragging on, which I think is bumming a lot of people out. But unless you're really new to true crime, then you probably realize that these things take a hell of a lot of time, almost all the time. And normally we don't care because normally the person is killed, right? And as much as we want to catch the person, because they're out there and they're doing this is really hard on everybody because in the back of our mind, even if she's gone for 6 months, we're all going to be going, she could be alive, right? She could be alive. And that is what is driving everybody nuts. Robert, thank you so much. You look great in green. This is what's driving people nuts right now. It really is. And I can understand why, right? I really can understand why. You know what? This Zach guy that owns MG Motors on Broadway in Tucson, the guy doesn't have any criminal record. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not guilty, but for this kind of crime, I really prefer it when somebody's got a rap sheet. Now, the guy he sold the car to, he absolutely has a rap sheet, but Zach does not.
Okay. You said that you wouldn't take a lie detector in the past because you were guilty.
Correct. But if my mother was missing, I would have demanded it on day one. When they came in and said, can you tell me where you were that night? I would say, do me a favor and go get a lie detector test and I'll take it right now. That way, perhaps we can, you thought it was on Oracle? I'm pretty sure it's on Broadway. Johnny Scoville and I looked at a car there once, believe it or not.
I like Mike Jensen. I like Mike Jensen. He breaks stuff down. Reese, exactly. That's why it's super suspicious that Tommaso has not done a public basic interview of simply explaining what happened. It's probably he's worried about his body language. Well, we're past that. It sounds like his body language is super.
No, it's on Oracle. Okay. That's odd. Is it on Oracle and Broadway? Go ahead, babe.
No, it's okay. I didn't mean to talk over you. I was saying hi to Southie. Mike, thank you for breaking stuff down. That was really helpful.
And that's really one of the reasons that I dig this. The number of people that come to this case who haven't done true crime before, I think it's a pretty decent idea to have people that bring in a new perspective. Some of the best stuff that I've seen on this have been from people that don't follow true crime at all. You tend to get jaded. And I will say that 100%. I'm jaded on this. I've done a lot of true crime. It's one of the reasons that I'm looking at Annie and Neckbeard. Hey, Bobo, don't you think that the ransom notes with deadlines are the biggest reason for the huge public interest? Because they thought they would receive answers at that point twice. I think that's a very astute thing to say. I absolutely believe that. This is one of the situations or one of the aggravating factors in this. That then throw into that, Addie, that most of these people, they're not getting anything from a press conference, right? There isn't any press conference on this. And when they don't give information, right, then it starts looking bad. Rosie says it's all a cover-up. You got to give me more than that. What's it covering up?
Thank you, Lucky. Babe, I don't understand.
Thank you.
I don't understand the definition. What is the definition of astute? I don't know what that word means.
That it's well thought out. It's a beautiful thought. It's a intelligent, intellectual thought. It's astute.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Do you think Miss Nancy can identify the perps, and that is why they can't just drop her off in front of someone's home in the middle of the night, which leads you to a very sad conclusion? If she could identify these people, then I would imagine that she died fairly quickly. I'm just saying, if that was the reason. However, if she could identify him, I don't understand why you wouldn't just kill her and leave her in the house. And I'm sorry if this is an uncomfortable conversation, right? But from a true crime standpoint, I cannot come up with a reason to take this woman out of the house unless it was a kidnapping. And if it was a kidnapping, then why not show proof of life? Then you start saying maybe before they got an opportunity to show proof of life, they lost her. And that could have been because of the heart. It could have been because a bunch of reasons. None of them are fun, right? Sad.
What a nice person.
Who's that?
His name is Bo. Someone said you don't know what astute means. Good God. It's really classy to make fun of people who don't know what something means.
You know something? The most intelligent phrase in the English language is I don't know. You know what's another good one? You're a douchebag. I'm pretty fond of that phrase too, just saying. See that? That is a great answer right there. Astute describes a person who is mentally sharp, perceptive, and quick to understand complex situations, enabling them to make sound and often advantageous decisions. Well played. Imagine that. You know something though? Look at that drawing right there. You sure you're not in on this?
Yeah. Babe.
Kind of looks like it. Sorry. Never seen a crime scene so open to media and workers with a sheriff with an ego problem. Ding, 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 ding. Yahtzee. That is absolutely one of those things. It really is. That's a solid comment. Yep, it really is. Maybe they watched the movie. Maybe they watched the movie Inside Man and they spent 40 minutes building a wall. Oh, you know what? That's actually a great comment. If anybody saw that movie, you know exactly what he's talking about. It's about a bank robber, and they put a fake inside the vault. They build a fake wall, and the guy hides out inside the bank. He never leaves. He ends up walking out afterwards. A great script. Has anyone thought about this scenario? Methinks the reason that Tomato and Andy did not do any type of public plea in the first 3 days is because they knew a ransom note was coming. Wow. Interesting. I mean, now, I wish somebody could explain to me why the sheriff decided, like in the beginning, this was a missing persons when it should have been, there's blood on the front steps, right? You should be calling out robbery, homicide. I'm sorry. And then on the flip side of that, how come we stop searching at 30 hours? How come we re-release the crime scene at 30 hours? None of those things make any sense to me at all.
It's an interesting thought, though, Mike.
Yes, I knew who that was. Imagine that. I thought it was pretty fantastic. That is the famous drawing of the Unabomber. People who ask questions tend to be smarter than the people who don't. Just saying, yeah, that's usually how that works. My dad, he was famous for saying, he said, people don't like to say, I don't know. It's one of the things that drew me to Reese more than anything in the world. By the way, she grew up in Scientology, right? They're pretty odd about how they, there's also a lot of words that Reese knows that I promise you don't. She's bilingual. It's an odd language, but she speaks Scientology. And if you've never heard someone speak it, you will absolutely know it is another language. I have not followed true crime myself, but I will say since I found this channel, I have gotten a great education. Tommy is upfront, honest, no BS. Definitely a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's a very, very kind thing to say.
Nice. And also, anybody in the world who makes fun of anyone because they didn't understand or know something, it's a direct reflection of your character.
It's, well, you know what?
Here's the thing, everything about you. It doesn't say anything about me.
Well, I have gotten to a point in my life where I realized that more important than almost anything on this planet is whether or not somebody is kind. For real. The rest of it is all you can teach somebody something, right? You can change, you can become better. If you're not kind, I don't want to know you. It's just I spend too much time. Yeah.
How you treat people tells me everything I need to know about you. If you make fun of someone because they didn't understand the definition of a word, that tells me what I need to know. That's not kind, right?
Thank you, Bonaboo. You're very kind. I'm obsessed with this case. It's monopolizing my brain. I think I do it to avoid my own life issues. You and a bunch of other people in true crime, except you are astute enough to realize that that's why you're doing it. Yeah. Allie gets it. Reese, misery loves company and a good ass kicking if they were anywhere near me. I'm sorry, man.
Well, I don't know a lot of words because of Scientology, guys. I don't know a lot. There's so many concepts. I thought the Holocaust was in the 1600s. I have no concept of geography or World War I, II, or III. Is there three? No.
Not yet.
The Pearl Harbor. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't know.
No, but you've been learning at a remarkable rate.
I'm just saying I don't fit in with the world on a lot of things because I don't know. And I'm learning, but to make fun of someone for not knowing something is, classy. I don't want to know you. Yeah.
Classy. Big Dog, how does Dominic fit into everything? I don't know, right? I don't know. And I'm a little freaked out about this, right? Because of how much he seems to match, right? If you look at that lip, it's something to me that is fascinating. And I'll show that image again in a second. I don't think someone smart would choose ransom through Bitcoin. You're absolutely right.
Really?
They wouldn't.
Why?
Because the reason that nobody can steal Bitcoin is not because it is, hey, Krob, if you've got it figured out, God bless you. But if Tommaso is innocent, then you must know who did it. Please let us know because we're all hanging on the edge of our seat. I'm sticking with he is the best. Currently, he is the best suspect in my book until it's proven otherwise. The guy that has said that he is not a suspect hasn't said one thing yet that he hasn't had to double back on, and he's already doubled back on this in a interview. Hold on one second. There's a David Miscavige question there.
Yeah,
I don't. So here's the thing with Bitcoin, Quibs. Here's the thing with Bitcoin. When you put something on the internet, right? The internet came first. You had .com, then it went .net, .org, all of those. So they call it Internet 1, Internet 2. Well, the new internet is called the blockchain, and it is completely different than anything else. It becomes very easy to track. You can go back and look at trades that I've done on Bitcoin from the very first time I bought any of it. It never goes away, and it is super easy to keep track of. So the people that think you can't track Bitcoin simply are wrong. You can, picture this for a second. You can go buy a house and say, I have no idea who's in that house, right? No idea who's inside that. That's like sending something to an anonymous Bitcoin wallet. However, you can just park outside until somebody leaves that house. And on the blockchain, you can do that. When the person decides that they want to take that Bitcoin and turn it into a currency that they can spend, it's going to be very easy to track them at that point. Thank you, Debbie. I really appreciate the support. That is awesome. What about maybe it's easier for it to have been a kidnapping than murder to draw attention away from the family? See, I understand the thought behind this, Sikorsky, but if it's a murder, the only people that are going to come out and investigate it are the Robbery Homicide Division of Tucson. Instead, we've got a ridiculous number of federal assets, Border Patrol, right? Every single great mind and every great tool in investigation is now being brought in on this because of the fact that that it is a kidnapping. It is a completely different investigation. Be nice in here or leave the building, Elvis. You're right. Just because the glove has male DNA doesn't mean anything. It also doesn't mean that. Hold on one second. Yeah, here we go. You want to see this again really quickly? Thank you, Sikorsky. I appreciate the support. You are incredibly kind in many ways. All right, let's look at this again. All right, you see Pooter?
Yeah.
There it is. It's the scar on the upper right lip. And there is the other scar. That's Dominic. I don't know what the deal is with Dominic because we're just not getting a lot of information. And that's one of the problems in this. One of the reasons that this is open to speculation as much as it is because they're giving us nothing. They haven't had press conferences in so long. And I think one of the reasons is all of the stuff that they said in the early press conferences, they had to walk back. That's an issue.
And no one knows about this guy? Like if he's being questioned, detained, nothing?
We don't know where the guy is. However, everybody suspects him.
How bizarre.
This is absolutely right, Ilaria. What's that?
Don't you think that's strange?
Of course I think it's strange. Absolutely. And he has a rap sheet. This is a guy that has been arrested. He has done burglaries. If you use Bitcoin, it automatically makes the case go federal. That is true because Bitcoin has to cross state lines in order to be used. He also has very dark eyes. He could match that. Now you would think that they'd be all over that, and we don't know. We really don't. The sheriff needs to hire a spokesperson. Yeah, I agree with you, man. 100%, Cynthia. 100%. I think there's two different crimes: Nancy's abduction and demise, then someone trying to get rich off her disappearance. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. That's sad too because it's such a state of where we're at.
Kid.
Angie, they did that. That's a great thought. Debbie, thank you again. This is a great thought, and it was done. I really appreciate you, Nancy, and I agree with you. This is multiple crimes. So if Bitcoin is trackable, they should deposit a small amount in the ransom note account, and when it is cashed in, arrest that person. They did. They put $300 allegedly onto the blockchain, and we don't know who put it on, but it has been announced that there's 300 in that wallet. No one has gone to get it out, which is probably a good idea on their part. I think the FBI are telling them to shut up. I agree. Yep, I agree. Maybe he's at TMZ writing Harvey's notes. Oh, that's good. FBI can also block someone from cashing in. Steve, they recovered $27 billion off of the blockchain last year. So make no mistake, just because it's there does not mean that that you're going to be able to keep it. It doesn't work that way. Oh, Harvey is. I'm not saying Harvey's not smart. I just think that I think he's all about Harvey, right?
Oh, I get it, Mike. I
Yeah.
get it. Trust
Yeah.
me.
I
I know that.
Yeah, especially because you're seeing something that's already gone. As it's rolling up, more often than not, it's already been taken off. Tomato and Annie would either hire a spokesperson or, at the very least, release a written statement. They wouldn't look so suspicious, in my opinion. Even the guy that owns MG Motors has come out and said, "Hey, that's ridiculous," right? But the two people that are really close involved in this, if it were me, I absolutely would have come out and said, I think that this is just horrific that I'm being even accused of this. Anything that I can do to help the authorities rule me out so that they can go catch the person that actually did this, you can do whatever you'd like. You want a blood sample, a DNA sample? You want me to give you a polygraph test? You want to go through my house? Knock yourself out. But let's get me out of this as fast as possible, right? Interesting. If Tommaso did this in a rage, he would call his best friends in for help. But I don't think that was Tommaso at the front door, right? I don't think that was Tommaso at the front door. Cynthia Sweeney, absolutely. Harvey is very well off. He's done well for himself. Unfortunately, in my opinion, and no one has to agree with me, but I think he's lost his way, right? I think that at this point, he's sold out to the highest bidder, and that's kind of TMZ letters are spot on. You're wrong about everything. Which TMZ letters would those be, Michael Barron? Thank you for your opinion. Which letters are spot on? The ones that didn't provide any proof of life, said that they were going to knock her off at such and such a period. I don't know. Aren't trolls supposed to live under bridges? Yeah, they really should be. All right, people, that takes us almost to the 2-hour mark. Please do me a favor. Stop by and hit subscribe at the Johnny Scoville's Chase the Heat channel, or this one right there.
There's no mods here, so I can't post it. Guys, please come over to my channel, Relatable Reese. Jill Smith, thank you so much. Tommy will mod me again tonight after this so that I can help with that again.
Nobody gets their stash picked or stolen on the blockchain. There's never been one successful hack on a blockchain. What happens is, if I tell my wife what my Bitcoin address or wallet address is, if you have my wallet address and the password, you can steal it. But that's not being stolen off the blockchain. That's me being dumb enough to leave that stuff out. It's like putting a wallet up on a desk and saying, "Oh, well, it's not safe to have a wallet." No money has ever successfully been hacked on the blockchain. Not once, ever in history, right? It always gets hacked. The only way that people lose those Bitcoin is because if I give you the address, you can do anything you want with it. Possession is basically 10/10 of the law when you're talking about Bitcoin.
Jennifer, thank you, Brock. Jennifer, you did remind me. I asked you to do that. She wants to do a Scientology show at some point. I told her maybe when this is all over, you don't probably
I'd love
have time
to do that. We've done a few in the past. Absolutely love doing them. It pays off. It really does. Not just because it's fun stuff to watch, but because that's an evil group of people. It's a criminal organization of a large size, and it destroys lives in a big way. It absolutely needs to get taken down.
Rue, you're hilarious. Yes, I agree. And guys, you seem to be quite curious about it. So I would love to do a Scientology show sometime. I was born and raised in it for 38 years. That's why my intelligence may not seem like it's fully there when it comes to this kind of thing. And I'm not tearing myself down. I'm just, I'm so, you have no idea how weird it is to be dropped into the human race. And like, it's weird to not know facts about that you guys know that I don't know. It's just weird.
Jill Smith, that's a kind thing to say. And I'm glad that if this is giving you any kind of peace, I'm sure glad that it is. And I'm glad that you're here. Tom Cruise picked that over his daughter. When you see us do the show on it, you'll realize that everybody picks that over their kids. They don't believe their kids are kids.
Thank you, Roulette Master. Thank you to everybody. I'm almost to 19,000. Why do I keep saying that? 18,000 on my channel. And yeah, Roddy Mom. And I'm so close. So if you guys would come over and subscribe, that would be really kind of you. I've enjoyed meeting all of you very, very much. So thank you for giving me a chance. And thank you for the people who were kind tonight and understanding. I appreciate that a lot. I'm a Cancer sign. It means a lot.
Yes. All right, people, between now and the next time I see you, get by there and hit subscribe at all of my nepotism channels. like my wife and my brother. And make sure you do here because it just chaps the ass of the people at YouTube. And I absolutely love that. Alrighty, people, thank you for your kindness. I will see you at midnight with the Johnny Scoville. Baby, it is always an honor to have you here. Thanks for being here with me. You are beautiful and intelligent. I love you. We'll see you on the next one, peeps. I'm Tommy. God bless and keep praying for that poor family. Boy, was that a